Versatile Mage. Chapter 680. Death Sentence. Such power. This young man is truly impressive. In the room outside the wicked eye copper mirror, Elder Ling Shi broke the silence. The escape plan was in motion. Most people had left to make preparations. Only a few who placed their hope in the group of young magicians stayed. However, Elder Ling Shi was severely injured, and she desperately needed rest. She had no choice but to stay inside the clock tower and observe the situation in the space of death. I've heard that some elemental contracted beasts are able to strengthen the power of the respective element of their master. However, I've never seen an elemental creature that can directly attach itself to a magician. His contracted beast isn't something ordinary. The fact that he's able to kill so many skeletons by himself, even an advanced magician isn't as impressive as he is. This is unbelievable, mused Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng had finally witnessed Mo Fan's true strength. It was utterly ridiculous, to an extent that it simply did not belong to his level. Only a few young magicians in the whole world would possess such strength at his age. If he wasn't involved in this calamity, his performance at the World College tournament would definitely shock the world. What a pity. What a pity. Mo Fan was still alive after all this time. As more skeletons appeared and surrounded him, the strength he displayed had completely surpassed his limit. The number of skeletons he killed was almost over 2,000, yet the size of the army of skeletons had only shrunk by just a bit. He was really giving his best. The 2,000 undead he killed before was supposed to be the limit of an intermediate magician, and now he had survived for so long in the middle of the skeletons. His strength was remarkable. Elder Ling Shi, it's your turn to receive healing. Your wounds are worsening, said a messenger. President Han Ji had slightly recovered his energy. He was mending the wounds of the authorities. It was almost impossible for the people who had jumped into the tomb to come out alive. Even though the escape plan was heartbreaking, it was necessary to proceed with it. Before the execution of the plan, he had to ensure the well-being of the authority figures. I'll take over, Elder. You should go treat your wounds, said Zhao Feng to Ling Shi. Ling Shi nodded. She slowly walked down the stairs. Prior to her departure, she looked back at Zhao Feng, as if she had something to say, but had no idea how to say it. Zhao Feng stared at the wicked eye copper mirror. He was unaware of Ling's eyes gaze. When he slowly turned his head and saw Ling's eyes back, she was already heading down the stairs. The slightly curly hair reaching her shoulders swayed with her movements. She took a glance at Yu. Yao Nan informed Zhao Feng. Oh, and you looked at her, added Yao Nan. Still holding back at this time, said Yao Nan impatiently. Yeah, it no longer matters in a situation like this, said Zhao Feng in a dull tone. That kid is better than you. He never backs off no matter what he's facing, said Yao Nan furiously, stabbing a finger at the wicked eye copper mirror. But he's still going to die. Zhao Feng looked down at the space of death. He was still able to see the vast ocean of skeletons waiting for Mo Fan, who was like a lonely raft in the middle of a black storm. No matter how hard he struggled, how hard he tried, the storm on the ocean was still going to devour him. At least he's not dead yet. Yao Nan did not like Zhao Feng's attitude. Explode. A larger scale version of 1,000 piercing fire feathers was fired in all directions. The consecutive explosions combined into a huge, fiery beehive, blasting the iron ball. Skeletons into pieces. Skulls, arms, and necks flew through the air and scattered, landing on the ground now covered in scars. As a matter of fact, the ground was already covered in a layer of bones of all shapes and sizes, stacked on top of one another after landing. It looked as if the ground were covered in a layer of blood from afar. Mo Fan was walking on the rug of bones. When the bones fell from the sky like snowflakes after the 1,000 piercing fiery feathers, they almost covered Mo Fan's ankles. Mo Fan could no longer move from his position. The waves of skeletons came one after another, completely surrounding him. The forest of skeletons was the same regardless of the direction he looked. He could not tell where the path ahead was, nor could he tell the direction Zhang Xiaohou and the others had retreated to. However, it did not matter. Since he could not move, he would kill them all here. Spiraling flames circled Mo Fan's arms, one on each hand. Mo Fan stood on the pile of skeletons. His black eyes remained energetic as he stared at the new waves of scissors hand skeletons rushing toward him. He was not in a rush to unleash the spiraling flames on his arms. Mo Fan was all by himself, hence, the skeletons naturally piled up when they were trying to attack him. It was exactly what Mo Fan was waiting for. The spiraling flames swept forward and combined into a fiery gust. The strength of the fiery winds continued to grow, turning into a fiery tornado in the end. Its diameter was a shocking 10 meters, with a height of 100 meters. The fiery tornado immediately dragged the scissors hand skeletons into it. They were either torn into pieces by the strong wind, or burned into ash by the heat. It completely depended on the skeleton's preference. 47. 48. The soul remnants floated into the Nether River continuously. Little Loach was intelligent enough to know that its master was currently in a pinch, thus it worked even harder to transform the soul remnants into soul essences so Mo Fan could strengthen his stars. It even put the strange lotus that it just absorbed aside and focused all its attention on the soul remnants. One more, just one more. Mo Fan yelled in his heart while clenching his teeth. The number of skeletons that the fiery tornado eliminated was far from enough. Large groups of them were still moving toward Mo Fan from another direction. Either Mo Fan or Little Flame Bell were running short on energy. Even though the energy was gone, it was still a great burden to keep using it. Mo Fan needed a second source of power, and lightning was the most reliable apart from fire. The number of dead undead had increased from 2,000 to enough to lay a carpet of bones on the ground. He had killed almost 4,000 skeletons, almost enough to strengthen all the stars of his lightning element. Only one left. Little Loach shuddered as if trying to tell Mo Fan that it had run out of soul remnants. Kill, kill, kill. Mo Fan did not know when he would be fully exhausted. His only thought was to kill. If the undead could bleed, the place would be flowing with blood. His extreme focus left the iciest possible expression on his face. The flicker in his eyes implied his unwillingness to give up had not diminished. Be it the Black Vatican, Ancient King, or the army of skeletons, Mo Fan would never accept the death sentence. He, Mo Fan, would live longer than anyone else, and he would trample everyone who tried to kill him under his feet. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.